What's going on, guys? It's Mike Ass back with week 2 of the DPDL. This time I'm going against Cam Ditzler and the York Yanmegas. Their team is the Darmanitan, Rodham Wash, Cobalion, Gardevoir, Crobat, Serena, Guzzlord, Palisand, Beware, and Charjabug. Pretty scary team. Absolutely got a lot of hard hitters. Darmanitan is absolutely insane. You run on Bandit, if you run Life Orb, if you run Scarf, Zen Mode. Anybody? you can even run Belly Drum, Sub Belly Drum if you want to. I don't really expect sub Belly Drum since I have a Conkeldurr. From what I've heard about this player is that they really like momentum. Darmanitan, Rodham, Cobalion, Gardevoir, Crobat, Serena, Charjabug, I believe, all have either U-turn or Volt Switch or Teleport. So that can really overwhelm your opponent if you're just continuing switching around, putting them in bad situations. So for prep, I kind of thought about a couple ways that I can handle that. First of all, I can always get momentum of my own, always be Volt Switching around or U-turning or whatever. 2, setting up rocks punishes their switches. And then 3, either having sets that they don't expect or just making reads to damage their core. Those are kind of the few ways that you can handle that type of play style. And also just strong, unresisted damage. You can U-turn all you want, but if whatever's coming in is taking like 50 to 60, it's not going to enjoy that. So I kind of had that in mind with my prep. First of all, I noticed Galvantula had a crazy matchup. Thunder Energy Ball, Bug Buzz is kind of the perfect coverage against this team. This Galvantula pretty much outspeeds his whole team. It's a speed tie with Cobalion. I wanted Volt Switch on here for the momentum, but Sticky Webs, if I was able to get them up, were just really, really good. So I decided to go that route. I thought about Giga Drain, but I knew I needed enough damage on Palisand, so Energy Ball was kind of the option there. I even considered like a Life Orb Galvantula set or like a Magnet or something like that because Thunder was really good. But in some of my prep matches, I came back in or brought it in later in the game, and they had gotten up Stealth Rocks with Cobalion or Palisand or one of those. So having heavy duty boots was really nice there. Then my next mon I brought was this sweet Stack Attack set that I came up with. So I'm mostly Spadef. That's mainly just to be able to handle Rodham Wash. I can, if it's fully defensive, I take about like 50%, I believe, from Hydro Pump. If it's fully offensive, I take 80% max. So as long as I'm not getting crit, I can live at least one hit. If I'm forcing a switch out, I can get my Iron Defense and then get my Trick Room. But yeah, at +2 body press, just goes absolutely crazy. His 2 resists are Gardevoir, Crobat, and I guess Palisand as well. Palisand kind of walls this set completely, so I need to get rid of it if they bring it before. But yeah, Gyro Ball kills Gardevoir. Gyro Ball does a ton to Crobat since it's so fast. And then I have defense boosting, so if I get a kill, my defense gets even higher. So I only really need one to Iron Defense once before I start kind of snowballing. The 12 defense, the positive defense nature is kind of some calc stuff with Beware, if it's like a bulk up Beware or if it's like fully like max HP or something like that. I did some calcs with that just so that I could beat it. Then I have my Primarina Rocky helmet, fully FizzDef. That's basically my safety net for Darmanitan. That thing can get out of hand very fast if your checks start going down to it. Moonblast Scald pretty much hits his entire team, so I don't really need much more than that. But I did bring Toxic just in case for Rotom Wash if I wanted to Toxic that. I know it has a pretty good matchup versus Primarina if I'm not Energy Ball. It probably could have been an offensive set of Primarina since it has a really good matchup, and under webs it outspeeds a lot. But I really needed something to check that Darmanitan because it played really well for them in their week 1 battle. So then my next is Hydreigon. I ended up bringing a Dragon Dance set at +1. I outspeed everything that isn't Scarf. Crunch is pretty much unresisted to everything except for Cobalion, which takes a lot from Earthquake if I'm +1. And then I brought Flamethrower because I noticed that Beware, if it's, if it comes, even if I'm at like +1 Dragon Move or Dual Wing Beat or Zen Headbutt, I'm doing like 30% to Beware because of its fluffy ability. But I noticed Flamethrower, if I'm kind of a naive nature and a little bit of special attack, I do like 70 to 80% with Flamethrower with the Life Orb. So this Hydreigon set is pretty interesting, pretty cool. I'm hoping it puts in some work for me. Then I brought Cradilly. This thing is pretty much there just to set up Stealth Rocks. Thought Stealth Rocks looked pretty good. He can only bring boots on one of his mons. I'm guessing that's probably going to be Crobat. So that means Rotom Wash is taking 12%. That means Darmanitan is taking 25%. Cobalion doesn't take like anything from Stealth Rocks, but that's fine. The rest of his team is not super resistant to Stealth Rocks. I made it FizzDef. I think for Serena, I'm not sure. It didn't really matter. It was basically just for Stealth Rocks. Oh shoot, I didn't talk fast enough. And then I brought Scarf Landorus. It's unresisted, so we'll get into the battle here. Sorry, I was talking too much. So they bring Darmanitan, they bring Rotom, Cobalion, Gardevoir, Crobat, and Serena. So I just noticed they brought their top 6 in terms of tiers. Bottom 4 at home, which makes me really happy because I don't have to deal with Beware, I don't have to deal with Palisand, I don't have to deal with webs from Charjabug, which I think Charjabug kind of would have been a waste for them to bring. So they have like 4 or 5 potential leads. Their whole left side is a potential lead. Even Serena could potentially be a lead, just to in case they think I want to like lead rocks with Landorus or something. But I know that Landorus pretty much outspeeds his whole team with the Scarf, so that means I can just lead off with it, click U-turn or whatever. So that's what I do. They lead off with Cobalion. I kind of figured that Psychic was a decent move, just because it's not super resistant. They're probably not going to go to Gardevoir their first turn. They end up going to Rotom, getting crit, but it didn't really end up mattering since they got all their health back. I bring in Cradilly just so that I can get my rocks back, or my rocks up. They bring in Crobat. I figured they'd probably just U-turn, so I hit them with a rock slide. They end up super fanging, and I'm expecting Serena to come in, but they just keep super fanging here. I get my Leech Seed off with the big root. I'm getting 16% back, which is pretty insane. So then at this point I just kind of spam Rock Slide so that Serena can't get in for free, and I'm getting lots of health back. They realize this is kind of a waste of time for their Crobat, so they U-turn out into their Serena. Get my Rock Slide off. It's down to 61% at this point, which is really good. I'm expecting a Rapid Spin, so I go into my Primarina to just get some Rocky Helmet damage, which is exactly what I get. Then at this point I'm expecting a Grass move, so I go into Hydreigon to take that. And then this is pretty sweet. I know Serena gets Triple Axle, so I go right back into my Primarina just to get a ton of Rocky Helmet damage. And let's see, that's exactly what he's going to do. Triple Axle. I'm just hoping it hits 3 times because otherwise I would have to do some more shenanigans. But it does hit 3 times and knock it out. My Primarina is still at 67%, so that's pretty sweet. Goes into Crobat just to U-turn, get some momentum like I said he would. I sat Cradilly since it's kind of worthless. I was hoping maybe I could get my rocks up again, but he knocks it out. I go into Stakataka. It was a little bit premature because I expected them to be choiced, but then when I switched in, I was like, oh, maybe they're not, so I'm just going to Gyro Ball just in case they try to Focus Blast. They go into Rotom and Thunderbolt. I'm not sure why I went Primarina. I was scared of like Hydro Pump or something like that. But then I go Galvantula just to take the next Thunderbolt. And here I can get a free Thunder off, do some decent damage. And I end up doing about 40% to Rotom, and they knock me out with a Hydro Pump. Here I realize they don't have Will-O-Wisp, so I can start to use my Hydreigon. I Dragon Dance on their Volt Switch. And they go pretty hard into Cobalion, so I'm just a little bit worried about that. I go into Landorus just to be safe. I'm not entirely sure what set this Cobalion is, but I just get a U-turn off just in case. Can go back into my Hydreigon, try again. This time I just go for a raw Flamethrower just in case they tried to go hard into Cobalion. But they ended up Volt Switching into their Gardevoir this time. I just decided to go for a Crunch to get some damage off. I ended up critting it and OHKOing it. It would have done about 80%, which is good damage, but not the crit. So here, they Iron Head. They still haven't revealed what item they are. But I just sack Primarina just to get a little bit of Rocky Helmet damage off, see if they switch up their moves at all. They don't, so I go into Stakataka. I figured this is the time and place for Stakataka to go crazy. Iron Defense, I know I can live a Hydro Pump. I know they can't burn me. They don't have Will-O-Wisp. They ended up missing the Hydro Pump, which is unfortunate, but I don't think I would have even died to a crit. I get my first kill with Stakataka, boost my defense again. They go into Crobat. They're just kind of trying to figure out what to do about this set. Maybe waste some turns of Trick Room, get some damage off with Super Fang. But I do a ton with Gyro Ball. I know I can kill with Body Press, so I do that just in case they try to switch out to waste some turns. 1 turn left to Trick Room, so I get another kill. It ends up being Darmanitan. I'm at 3.5 times defense. And I have Choppleberry, so this this close combat does 13%. And then I knock it out with body press. And then I end up winning 2-0, which is pretty decent. Yeah, so I'm glad I get the win on a pretty tough opponent here. So we'll see you guys week 2. Peace.